everyone, my name is Muir, and this is Starsector version 0.95A RC15. And this is the Gemini. Alright, so the Gemini. What is this build? It has 2 heavy machine guns. It uses some Warthogs. It has an integrated targeting unit, military subsystems, an escort package, expanding crew deck, and advanced turret gyros, because we want these things spinning as fast as possible. We've got 7 vents on it so that we heavily exceed our flux generation with the machine guns. And, well, there's something about this to make this work even better. Let's go over to skills. So as you can see, we sort of have a lot of the fighter perks, as well as this one. This is actually paramount if you're going to be using a lot of point defense on your ships, which if you're using carriers, you most likely will, unless you're doing something else that's slightly more specific. So this gives you a free plus 100 range boost on your point defense weapons. Over here we have projectile speed, that's nice. This stuff is just better shields, and this thing lets you use the Gemini special more often. What's really important here is this one, auxiliary support. Well, auxiliary support lets you take some civilian ships and make them into pretty good combat ships. Over here we have, it is a 500% increase to the escort package that we have. So let's go look at that real quick. No, R. So the escort package at normal, it adds, I think it's 10% maneuverability. It increases the range of point defense by, I think, 30, and the damage to fighters by a little bit. I think it's like 5 or 10%. Well, because of this skill, that's increased by, it's multiplied by 5, I think. Yeah. Plus 500%. So it's multiplied by 6, effectively. This doesn't do anything for us, but this one does. It makes our Warthogs go faster. And then we have this one. Increases our weapons range. Is it this one? Yes. Ballistic and energy weapon range by 15%. We have this one. It makes our fighters all go faster. We have this, just gives us better flux dissipation and capacity, and that doesn't really do anything for us. So all of these things combined result in some pretty funny things. So this is that ship. We can't actually take me off of this because I don't think we can, at least. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get a friend, shall we? Let's go with you, I guess. Let's put Fen on this just so you can see the difference here. So retard, let's go ahead and run a simulation. Let's look at its weapon ranges. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each one of these is about 150 from my calculations. So we have 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. Let's put our skills on there. Now let's look at it. Well, it's, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this means he has a range with his machine guns of over 1,000. This makes this very, very powerful. Now, the thing that's important is you can also do this with your normal officers, I think. At least you can get them the bonus that extends their point defense by 100 units. So why is this important? Well, you wouldn't think that a mule would be able to defeat a enforcer, would you? Would you? Well, I have news. Because of the extreme range on the machine guns, the Gemini is able to keep the enforcer really at extreme range, to the point that the enforcer can't really do a whole lot to the Gemini. If it charged in, the Gemini would just be able to spin around, so there isn't a whole lot the enforcer is able to do here. As you can see, the Gemini, which only has 2 heavy machine guns, is able to keep the enforcer at bay, push it back a little bit. That's not good if you're an enforcer. The other thing is, because the Gemini is able to burn its flux off really fast, the moment it's able to get out of the Enforcer's weapon range, it can just drop its shields, and its flux drops real fast. When it needs to, you can bring them back up, and just keep dropping them off. Now, I want to point something out. The AI is piloting the ship, not me. That's important, because the AI is notoriously bad at ships like this, but here it's getting the job done. That's pretty good. So, how is this working? The heavy machine guns, they do a lot of shield damage. And so what that means is the Warthogs, the fighters that they have, those do a lot of armor damage. Therefore, the Gemini is able to, albeit very slowly, wear down the Enforcer's shields, or max out its flux, as the Warthogs can go in and deal some damage. So, the Gemini does not want to be in close quarters combat with the Enforcer. But, the Enforcer is going to the Enforcer will eventually run out of missiles, and then it's going to have some pretty major problems. So as you can see, those Warthogs are very slowly working on that Enforcer. Every single one of those mortar rounds that hits armor is dealing 300 damage. Well, is dealing 150 damage, so both of them hit, it's 300. Now, the heavy machine guns, as we can see, the Gemini eliminates its flux far faster than the heavy machine guns put on. That means the Gemini has more or less infinite sustain. As long as it can keep playing this game of staying away from the Enforcer, it can and will win. Really with no real armor damage either. Which is the best part of this. So, its special is almost ready. The Enforcer is really timid at this point and does not want to engage all that much. But once it fires its guns, it actually maxes out its flux for the Gemini. We can just sit there, keep using its special, and slowly shoot the Enforcer to death. And so there we have it. The Enforcer is pretty much maxed out on flux. It can't really do much. Eventually it's going to sit there until its shields max out and then die. Alright, it's trying its best, but down it goes. Alright. So, let's see how well the Gemini does against fighters. Because I don't actually know. The Gemini is worth 9 points. So let's throw it up against 3 hounds, shall we? Because hounds are actually kind of dangerous if you are a lone freighter. Go on, my friend. Do that voodoo that you do. The only problem for the hounds is they don't have shields, and they don't have missiles. So the machine guns for the Gemini can just focus on shooting them. The other thing that's problematic for the hounds is that the Gemini's machine guns have 360 coverage on it, so it can pretty much always be shooting them. The only problem is it doesn't have 360 shields, so it's not looking like it's going to go particularly well for them, for the Gemini. What it needs to do is focus on one of them, kill that one, and then try to kill off the other ones. There's also the idea that maybe, I mean, there's still a chance it could win. It just needs to kill this one, which is pretty low now, so it's not really going to want to fight. But that doesn't matter. Let's see if he can take it down. Can he take this one down? Alright, answer is yes. That means that his job of killing the other two becomes much easier. So let's see what he can do. Now there is the problem in that the closer they get to the Gemini, the more likely that only one of those machine guns will be able to shoot the enemy. So this creates a bit of a problem. But as you can see, just fighting the Gemini can have consequences. But can the Gemini clutch it out? Not sure. It's got those 2 Warthogs out there now, which all it needs is another shot, and there it goes. So this battle is decided at this point. Those hounds are doomed. So, how well does this do punching above its weight class? Well, let's have it fight something... let's have it fight a Dominator. Why not? I have a feeling it's not going to go well, because it just doesn't have the DPS to force the Dominator to respect it. So, how does this go? It also doesn't outrange the Dominator in any meaningful way. Yeah, it won't be able to really do much here. As you can see, it's barely putting hard flux on the Dominator, but the Dominator is putting far more hard flux on the Gemini, so it's having to start take hits. Yeah, and down it goes. So it cannot compete with a Dominator. And with an Onslaught would just be completely pointless. But against other things, this is pretty decent. But what happens, just out of curiosity, what happens if we put flat cannons on it, or dual flat cannons for that matter? Well, let's find out. Dual flat cannons, they have a much lesser damage per second. No. They have a higher damage per second, but they do fragmentation damage, which means only 25% of this is actually getting through. I have a feeling what that means is dual flat cannons would not be as good as this would be. Thumpers, same thing. They deal shield, they deal fragmentation damage. They just won't be as good. However, just for grins, let's look at the ranges of these two with all of this stuff. So we zoom in. We have a Vulcan cannon with a range of effectively 600 range. It only has a range of 250. Then we have the normal machine gun, which has a range of 5, so roughly 750. Which is outrageous. But yeah, there you go. The Gemini. Just have it to have 2 heavy machine guns and max out defense with all this good stuff. And these skills, most of which you can get on an officer. And you will be absolutely terrifying in your single Gemini. Alright guys, my name has been Finmer, and this has been Starsector version 0.95A RC15, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing if you'd like to see more. I really want to know what you'd like to see more of, so just let me know in the comments below. Thanks, and see you next time. Bye.